Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Unscripted on Hillcrest TV, and of course I am Deborah Bonica, but I like to be called Lady Ginger, and here with me in the studio is my co-host of the day. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everybody, my name is Samuel Adiola. Yes, I wouldn't say more than that.
He's the money expert coach. Well, we're going to be talking about NGOs. Adiola is going to be walking us through NGOs because I know he has something in mind. He's going to be talking to us about NGOs, if NGOs are scams or they're actually meant for what the original idea is for. Anyways, Adiola Samuel, aka Adebaba. Walk us through NGOs before I say anything.
Well, okay. Here's my take on NGO in Nigeria. I would simply, personal classification, all right? I'm simply going to classify NGOs into two categories. You understand? We have, let me call them the big and the small NGO.
Yeah.
You understand? So we can actually call them the major and the minors.
Yeah.
So now, I'm going to focus on the small NGOs, which is the kind of NGO that people start up, people around and everything. Now, in recent times, we've discovered that there's a huge increase in the numbers of NGOs that are being registered in recent times. Yeah. Now, one would now think, is it that people are beginning to want to give back so much to the society that they start these NGOs? But the answer is no. They are starting these NGOs. One, some persons are doing it as a means of recognition, like they want the government to notice them. Another thing is they want to use it as an opportunity for them to cash out, basically. So that's what we've seen with most of these NGOs springing up in recent times.
Ade.
Yeah.
Is that what, let me ask you this. Why do you think that the major ones, that's the big guys, the big NGOs, why do you think they are not doing the same thing you just talked about with the small NGOs?
Let me walk you through something very, very important, all right? I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. Bill Gates' family, his mother precisely, used to be the family used to be the major sponsor of the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't know if they are still there, but they used to be the major sponsor of the World Health Organization. Now, for somebody to be the sponsor of an organization, basically, you know what it means? It means that the person is full. You have more than enough already. Now, if you've ever seen this documentary, The Men Who Built America, all right, basically you'll find somebody like what's that his name again?
Go on.
Yes, Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie got to a certain level that he felt, the only way he can be remembered is through the numbers of charitable activities that he has done. So he got to a level that he wasn't focusing on accumulating wealth or money anymore. He decided, all these things I've accumulated, I want to give it out. But now, if you go back to the case of Nigeria, which is my country, you'll find somebody who is struggling, who has not eaten probably that money, and then try to organize people to go and do free pad donation to ladies or do free donation of these
now I feel attacked.
And a whole lot of things.
Now I feel attacked, Ade.
And one thing, one thing I want people to understand is that you need to take care of your financial burdens before you can think of helping other persons. I know a lot of persons will come for my head, all right, for saying this. But one thing I want you to understand is that you can't help the poor by being one of them.
I do agree with that sentiment of yours.
All right.
But I do have I feel attacked because I recently just did an outreach.
Oh, really? I'm not aware.
I think you are very much aware that I own an NGO. I'm a founder of an NGO.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware. I know.
Okay, now the fact that you mentioned pads and other things, I feel attacked because that's like the key focus for me. And for someone like me, right, I do not totally agree with everything surrounding the NGO. I don't like to call it business. In fact, I feel very offended.
It's a business.
No, I don't think it's a business. I really do not think it's a business because I'm not earning nothing out of it. I would take myself.
You might not be earning something out of it, all right?
Yes.
I understand that position.
Okay.
But a whole lot of people start NGOs out there. They start these things because of what they're going to get out of it. I know,
but they might.
I'm a web developer, right?
Uh-huh.
And for me to be speaking from this point of view, you should understand why I'm saying this. We have people come to us, contacting us. Oh, we want you to build us a platform. We want you to do this and do that. X, Y, Z, different kind of things.
And then at the end of the day,
we know what's up with it.
Yeah.
We don't just want to spill out some things on air, basically.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we have this fact, we have these details, and that is why I've come to the conclusion that most of these small NGOs springing up is basically for the reason of what? Cash out.
Well, if you look at it from this angle, right? What's the core essence of NGO? Giving back to the society, right? That does not, when you limit it to the fact that somebody has to be extremely full in order to give, I don't think that's you being genuine. I don't think that's a genuine giving. No.
Let me give you a scenario. Okay, let's say, for example, you're drowning in a river.
Uh-huh.
All right? The first thing you do is to look for something to hold on to. If you try to rescue somebody who is drowning in that river with you, at that moment, the person will drag you down and both of you will lose your life. You'll die. So the first thing you do is to save yourself first by looking for something to hold on to. All right. And then you try to reach out to the person and ask the person to bring their hands so that both of you will not die. Uh-huh. But in this case of NGO, this person does not know what they are going to eat. All right. Doesn't have the basic requirements or basic amenities. And then, and again, this person is equally struggling to pay their rent. And they are founding NGO.
Well, like I said, I do share.
And remember what I told you. You cannot help the poor by being one of them. You need to save yourself, rescue yourself, solve your financial burdens to a certain extent before you think about giving back to the people. You must have what you want to give back.
No, but I do share some of your sentiments, like I said. But I'm also saying that I've had to meet people who, they've just decided that regardless of how little I have, even if I'm not comfortable enough to be them Bill Gates and Dangote Foundation and the rest, I want to. Foundation also, mind you, is like a platform where people use in sourcing for assistance for people who are unable to. I have someone that has a foundation and I can tell you this guy climbs bike every day, right? You would want to say if somebody's comfortable in Nigeria, you have to have a car, you have to that. This guy, Absolutely. They fly bike every day. But
and he owns an NGO.
He does own an NGO and that guy's yearly stats will show you millions of naira. Okay. And let me get somewhere. Now, his NGO is focusing on cancer. You know, when not just even cancer, when people have medical issues and then they're in the hospital, he uses his platform to say, okay, this person has this issue. What can the public do in order to support this person? The reason why most times it's registered as an NGO is just so you can have a portfolio, my brother. I've been giving out way before I registered my NGO. In fact, I did not want to register it as an NGO.
So basically, but most people NGOs are looking for titles because you just have portfolio.
No. Now you talked about the government, right? If a government wants to fund your NGO or say, you have an outreach, you have a program, you have this, Nigerian government has not made it too easy. You have to provide a corporate certificate. It's also part of the conditions to get grants and funds. So you're actually forcing the good Samaritan to go and acquire these documents, which makes them legal enough to say, okay, I own this thing, I'm not a scam.
Yes, because they understand the system and they understand how a lot of persons might.
So how are they helping?
The system.
Are they too not defrauding now?
By getting you incorporated.
Exactly.
And what they want is very simple. If your belly is not full, then you don't have anything to give.
Oh wow!
So that's why they tax you.
Oh, well. Talking about the big guys now, right?
Okay.
I was gonna get there. Let's don't call those other big shots. We have some really big guys. No, we're not talking about them Bill Gates. Those are founding fathers.
No. I basically mentioned Bill Gates.
Those are founding fathers.
Just to cite it as an example, you understand? So that you understand where I'm coming from.
We have big NGOs in this country. Let's don't go too far. We have big NGOs in Nigeria that we know that they use their platforms for other matters. Right? They use their business for other matters. I'd rather even work with a small NGO than work with somebody who is using his or her NGO to do something that we cannot mention on camera. So I would advise you make a little bit research on these NGO matters. And this small, as you call them, this small NGO owners, right, who are actually taking the initiative to go to local communities where the needs are greater, where children of 16, 18-year-old kids have never used pad in their entire, like, how do you get from 1 to 16? Let's say from 10 to 16, 18, you've never seen pad. You've never used pad. And then one person says, this I want to choose to be my life works. I want to be able to go out there to do this for people. My NGO does this. We go out there, we reach out to people. I go to the nooks and crannies of Kogi State to be precise, to go do this foundation outreach. You can't come and tell me because my NGO is not known by the world now, where I'm small NGO that I'm a scammer. Don't do that.
No, you're getting it wrong.
Don't do that.
You're getting it wrong. Okay, let me cite an example for you so that you understand basically. Some persons set up NGOs. They understand the channels, right? And the system through which they can actually access international funding.
Exactly.
Now, I've seen a case where this same set of persons gather children in the neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
And they gather them, take photographs, and then they contact web designers to design a website for them and do all these things in order to get the money out. Now, you are saying this because probably your own NGO does the outreach, you share the pad and everything. You know why I mentioned the pad? I mentioned the pad because I have seen a lady who come to me, not just me, I and my friends and a couple of persons, that we should support our NGO. And her plan is to actually give out pad and a whole lot of things. And this is you. Sometimes last week, couldn't even get money to feed. So how about you focus your energy, channel your energy
on feeding your stomach first at this point.
You know, creating a business that generates funds and a whole lot of things.
I do agree with that.
And then your focus at this point is now how to help other people when you equally need help yourself.
Exactly. I think I do agree. I do agree with that. And like I told you, I do share in some of your, because I've had to speak to some other co-NGO owners and I'm like, listen, you cannot look like this and go meet someone and ask for money. They will not give you. Because you cannot be looking, your shoe cannot be looking like Ancient of Days. And you're coming to somebody's office. So I do understand where you're coming from. But as an NGO owner, I really want to speak very little on this matter. But I do get where you're coming from. And we're going to keep this open for our viewers to, of course, share their thoughts on what they think about the fact that if NGOs are scammers or they are, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And for the sake of time and the word of time, of course, it's Adiola in the build in the studio. And I am your host, Deborah Bodika. Until next time, do have a good day.